Professor Ammar Yaghי, congratulations. I mean, wow, it is such an honor to be talking to you, the first Saudi scientist to win a Nobel Prize. I mean, I'm really grateful to be here today. And when your name was announced in Stockholm, was it a moment of surprise or more of the accumulation of a lifelong inner journey, so to speak?
It was a surprise. I mean, I received the call from the committee when I was landing in Frankfurt and taking my bags to deplane. So it was very surprising, and I was right there in the plane while they were telling me that I have been awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And they were talking about the different presentations that they were going to make in 90 minutes before the official announcement. And they asked me whether I would be available to give interviews. And I said, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to because I will be on my next flight during that time. So it was absolutely fantastic. And there is, you can't prepare for moments such as this.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, tell me more about how you felt. How did it feel after all this hard work that you've been doing, all this research you've been doing to finally have this moment announced?
Well, I think scientists do science for two reasons. One is that they want to stimulate their mind, advance the frontiers of knowledge for the benefit of humanity, but they also want to be recognized for their work. And I think that those are two important components. If you ask a scientist to work in an isolation and they can't report their work, they can't talk about their work, they probably wouldn't do it. So I think that this is important to keep in mind, is that we work for advancing the frontiers of knowledge. And when our research, our results have benefit to society, it's really an amazing feeling. And to be called by the Nobel Committee, which is the highest honor a scientist could receive, that's just an icing on the cake. And it's really part of an important legacy for a scientist to be awarded such a prize. It also, I think the prize allows us to, especially the emerging generation, to open their eyes to what is possible. I think it enhances the science, it encourages the youth, and it brings the science up front and center in society. I think those are very, very important for building an educated society.
I can imagine, and I will get back to that in just a moment. Professor, now, as the first scientist carrying the name of Saudi Arabia to receive a Nobel in chemistry, how does this reflect on the significant advancements Saudi Arabia is witnessing in the fields of research, development, and as well as innovation?
Well, first, I want to thank His Majesty King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and I also want to thank the Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, for the support that they've shown me during the last years, for supporting my research, encouraging me. I think this is important to mention. Science cannot be done in vacuum. It requires a lot of different contributions from different sides, and they have done a tremendous job in supporting me. I also want to thank KAXT, King Abdulaziz City of Science and Technology, for their collaboration, scientific collaboration over the last many years. These two aspects have helped me craft our research and direct our research in directions that benefit society. And we've taken the basic science all the way to applications and to commercialization through these collaborations and through the support of His Majesty and His Royal Highness in this regard. And I just want to mention that and thank them very much. This is an important time to acknowledge the people who have contributed to my success. In terms of its impact on society, I think the kingdom is going through an amazing transformation to become an important contributor to the world scene of science. And not just science, but also technology. And you can see every day different initiatives, such as the 2030 initiative, which is an important initiative for evolving the science in the kingdom. This is very important. The kingdom has a lot of smart people, and especially in universities, and these initiatives are very important at providing them opportunities, opening the door for them to experience and achieve their potential.
Beautiful. Completely agree, Professor. Now, let's talk a little bit science. When you first imagined materials, molecule by molecule, did you ever think it will lead to drinking water from air desert? I mean, such a radical transformation, at least for me.
Very good question. When I set out to do research, I wanted to build materials like one would build Legos, or take molecules like building blocks and put them together to make different forms. And that was very, very exciting. And I did it, honestly, I did it because I love molecules, and I love the beauty of molecules. Their molecules is what attracted me to chemistry when I was 10 years old. I discovered drawings of molecules. We call them stick and ball diagrams. And I didn't know what they were at 10 years old, but certainly I figured out in future that these are molecules, and I became more and more interested in them, and I became deeper and went into the knowledge deeper and deeper. And finally, I had my independent position at Arizona State University back in 1992. And there I was free to exercise my ideas. And again, we wanted to implement the concept of building materials from molecular building blocks, and we succeeded. And that was an amazing moment. But once you build materials, and in this case, we have basically opened a gold mine where any molecule could be stitched together to make a new material. So the possibilities are almost endless. Now, it's not just beauty of what you've created, but also now we have to ask questions about what are they useful for. And that's when we embarked on applying the chemistry to taking water out of desert air to make drinking water, taking CO2 out of the air to clean the air, and many storing hydrogen into the pores to make clean energy. So all these things are a progression of the initial success that we've had in assembling materials from the molecular building block approach, and that's what the committee has cited for the development of metal organic frameworks.
Well, it is an amazing accomplishment indeed, Professor. Now, will MOFs one day allow entire cities to run on captured water and recycled air? I mean, is that science fiction or an engineering deadline, so to speak?
Well, it sounds like science fiction. In fact, there were movies made about trapping water from
Correct.
air. But the power of these materials is that they can make dreams come to reality. And this is the beauty of it. We have a startup called Atoko in the south of Los Angeles, in Irvine, that is already testing devices that would deliver 2,000 liters a day from trapping water out of the air and requiring very little energy. They also have another product that would deliver 850 liters a day of water, clean drinking water, using only ambient sunlight. no electricity, just no power input, just ambient sunlight. So this means that these products will be widely deployed in cities, villages, everywhere where there is a need for clean water. So this is not science fiction anymore. It is reality, and it's made so by metal organic frameworks.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we look forward to having that implemented in many, many other cities around the world, especially in countries of need. So, Professor, allow me to ask you this. Is there a discovery you dream of that science hasn't yet caught up with?
Well, yes, I dream a lot about the future. And you have, as the saying say, you have to have a dream for a dream to come true. And scientists in general, and especially me, I was taught by my father and then by my PhD mentor that you have to do something completely new, okay? Completely new as a scientist. And that's what we strive for. Yes, right now I have dreams, I have ideas on how we can take this chemistry to the next level, which is, could we design MOFs that operate like DNA, meaning that they have sequences of information that code for very specific properties? They could be carbon capture and conversion of carbon to useful materials. That could happen in just one material. That's what we're working on now. It's a big challenge. If we can solve it, then we would have completely changed further the way people think about making materials. So that's one direction. The other direction is that we have many ideas on how we can accelerate discovery using AI, using machine learning and large language models, AI tools that allow us to take things that we research for 2 to 3 years to achieve a result and reduce that time down to just weeks. We have already preliminary results that show that we can speed up the discovery of new materials so that we can achieve new materials that have very specific applications much quicker, 50-fold faster than what we have been doing. So the future is very bright, and we only scratch the surface. There's a lot more work to do. And we have many, many ideas about how these materials can be modified further and with the use of AI, completely transform the way material science and chemistry work. This is something that I might add is a significant part of my collaboration with KAXT in Saudi Arabia.
Amazing. I'm glad to hear that you have the support for that amazing vision that you have, Professor. Now, allow me to end with this. After winning this prize, what messages do you have to all the youth? I mean, you mentioned earlier how important this prize is for the youth, and especially the youth of Saudi Arabia, that you made this possible for every single child in Saudi Arabia to look up to having a Nobel one day in their lives. And not only in Saudi Arabia, but all the Arab children look up to you in that. So what are your messages to them?
Well, my message for Saudi Arabia is that you live in an amazing country that has tremendous resources and leadership that has the will to put those resources behind your education and behind the development of science and technology. This is a time in the history of science where it's never been better to do science. We have amazing equipment, amazing facilities that provide amazing opportunities for young people to engage in science. And as I mentioned with AI, this becomes even transformative to one's opportunities and for them to plug into solving societal challenges and developing technologies to make better standards of life for not just Saudis, but everyone in the region and the world. So my advice to them would be science allows you to get to the top the quickest. Okay, it just requires patience, and you have to do the experiment. If you do the experiment, you have the possibility to discover. And when you discover you could transform the world. So I think that my message is to do the experiment and to be bold and not afraid to try new things. So the experiment is paramount to discovery.
I agree. I think having the courage to experiment unknown things is absolutely the key to some amazing adventures and findings. Professor Omar Yaghi, congratulations again. The first Saudi scientist to get a Nobel Prize in chemistry. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your interest and for this wonderful interview.